Hello, today we are going to be talking about solving equations with the variable on each side. Okay, so steps for solving an equation with the variable on each side. Your first step is to simplify, if possible. So when I say simplify, that means your distributive property that we've talked about, or you're combining like terms. So if you can simplify, you must do that first, okay? Then your next step is to add or subtract. Your x term, so your variable, to the other side. So you're going to move all of your variables to one side, and then you would move all of your constants to the other side, and then you would just continue to solve. Okay, so again, simplify if possible. So if you can do the distributive property or combine like terms, you need to do that first. Second step is you're going to move your variable to one side of the equal sign by adding or subtracting it. And then once you do that, you'll see your basic equation like you guys are used to. So that's why it says continue to solve. Okay? So let's do these together. So again, first step is simplify if you can. So you're looking at the left side of the equal sign, you're looking at the right side. Notice how we can't simplify anything, so the first step's done. Next step is you're going to move all of your variables to one side, and I always like to move them to the side that's going to make your coefficient positive, but no matter which way you move it, so if you move all of your x's to the left over here, or if you move all of your x's to the right, you should still end up with the same answer, okay? So I see my 2x and an x over here, so since this has less x's, I'm going to move it over here with the 2x. So the opposite of, since this is a positive x, so the opposite of adding x would be subtracting x to move it. And you want to line it up under what you will be subtracting it from. So like your x minus x will cancel. You're going to be left with a -7 over here on the right. And then on the right side, notice how I put the minus x under the 2x, because I can only subtract like terms. So if I were to put the minus x under the 3, I would not be able to take 3 minus x because they're not like terms. So that's why I put it under the 2x, okay? And then you just simplify it. So 2x minus x would be 1x, or just x. And then notice how you still have a plus 3, so you just need to bring that down. Okay, so as soon as you move your variables to one side, you're just going to solve your basic equation like normal. So to get x by itself, the opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. And again, you're just going to do that to both sides. So then your final answer is x equals -10. Okay? So let's try another one. So B, so we have 5x plus 1 equals 2x minus 5. So same thing, your goal is to move all x's to one side, and then you would just continue to solve like normal. So I see more x's over here on the left, so I'm going to move my 2x over here with the 5x. So again, this is a positive 2x, so I can put a plus sign there. So the opposite of adding 2x is subtracting 2x. So your 2x's over here are going to cancel because that equals 0. You're going to be left with a -5, so you just want to bring that down. And then on the left side of your equal sign, when you take your 5x minus 2x, that gives you a 3x. And then don't forget that you still have a plus 1 up here, so you also need to bring that. So you still have a plus 1 up here, so don't forget to bring that down as well. Okay? Now you just have a basic two-step equation, so you're just going to solve it like normal. So to get x by itself, move the number on the same side as x but not attached to it. So the opposite of adding 1 is subtracting 1. So we're going to be left with a 3x equals a -6, because -5 minus 1 is -6. And then our last step to get x by itself is to divide by that 3 on both sides. So x equals -2. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 more with you guys, and then I want you guys to try 2 on your own. So for letter C here, again, check to see if you need to simplify anything, which in this case we don't. So we're going to go ahead and move all of our variables to one side. So I have negative variables over here and positive over here. So I'm going to move my -2x to the left. So the opposite of a -2x is a positive 2x. So in other words, adding 2x. So my 4x plus my 2x is going to equal 6x. Don't forget you still have a +9, so you need to drop it down. These 2x's are going to cancel because that equals 0, and then you're still left with a -15. Okay, so now we just have a basic 2-step equation, so I'm just going to solve like normal. So the opposite of adding 9 is subtracting 9. I know it's getting hard to see, so I'm going to write it up here. So after you subtract 9 on both sides, you're going to be left with a 6x equals a -24. So then your last step would be to divide by that 6 on both sides, and you should get x equals -4. Okay, so moving on to letter D here. So this one's different than the rest of them because notice how we do have to simplify our equations here. So remember to simplify to get rid of those parentheses. You're going to do your distributive property. So you're going to take your outside number and you're going to multiply it times everything on the inside. So a -2 times a 4x is a -8x. And a -2 times a +1 is a -2. So I'm just going to write -2. Over on the right side, again, distributive property, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so now that we have simplified, we can now just start solving this like the rest of these. So first step is to get all x's to one side. I see I have negative x's over here and positive x's over here. So I'm just going to move my 8x over here with a 3x. So the opposite of subtracting 8x or a -8x is a positive or adding 8x. So your -8x plus your positive 8x are going to cancel. You're going to be left with a -2. Your 3x plus your 8x will be 11x. And then you still have your +9. And as soon as you move all of your variables to one side, you should just have your basic equation now that you can continue to solve like normal. So to get x by itself, I'm going to move this +9. Opposite of adding 9 is subtracting 9. So -2 minus 9 is -11. Over here on the right side, our 9's are going to cancel. We're going to be left with 11x. And then our last step to get x by itself is to divide by that 11 on both sides. And so x is going to equal -1. Okay, so at the bottom, you guys are going to try these on your own. I'm going to rewrite them on the back because our printer has started messing up. So I want you guys to try these on your own. So go ahead and pause the video once you get these equations. Okay, so there's your equation. So go ahead and pause the video and then press play when you're ready for the answers. Okay, so you guys should be now done with these two equations. So let's see how you guys did. So again, your first step was to move all x's to one side. It does not matter if you moved the 3x's over here with the 2x or if you move the 2x's over here with the 3x. Okay, I just like to move them where I'm going to get positive variables and where it's just going to be easier for my last step. So since I have more x's over here, I'm going to move my 2x with my 3x. So again, since it's positive, I can put a plus sign there. So the opposite of adding 2x is subtracting 2x. So my 2x's are going to cancel. I'm left with a -1. Over here, my 3x minus 2x is just 1x, or in other words, just x. And then you still have a +8, so make sure you bring it down. And then now this is just a basic one-step equation. So last step to get x by itself is to subtract the 8 on both sides. And we are now left with a -9 equals x. So good job if you guys got that. If you did not, please go ahead and fix your work. All right, and then my second set of equations over here. So again, your goal is to get all x's to one side. If you can't simplify right now, which in this case there's no need to simplify. So I'm going to move my 2x over here to the left. So the opposite of a positive or adding 2x is subtracting 2x. My 6x minus 2x will equal 4x. I'm still left with a +3, so I'm going to drop it down. My 2x's are going to cancel because that equals 0. And then I'm still left with a -9 over here. I still need to get x by itself, and this is just a basic two-step equation. So I'm going to move this +3, and to move it, I'm going to use its inverse operation, which is subtracting 3. So my +3 minus 3 will cancel. I'm left with 4x equals, and then a -9 minus 3 is a -12. And then our last step to get x by itself is to divide by that 4 on both sides. So -12 divided by 4 is -3. Okay, so awesome job if you guys got that. One thing I forgot to mention was please don't forget you can always check your work by plugging your answer back into the x's up here and then just seeing if your left side equals your right side. Okay, but that is it for today, so please let me know if you have any questions.